Annie, as we were saying just before we started recording, yeah, it's been a long time. It's good to see you. I appreciate you doing this.
My pleasure. Yeah, it's so nice to see you.
It's yeah, I mean so many things have changed, I mean, I think the first time we crossed paths was back in 2009 at the games at the ranch. Both of us were competing. You did far better than I did that year. And
How did you do that year?
oh, I actually don't know. I was in the not in the top half, but
Oh,
I
you
got
got caught.
cut I got cut right before that terrible workout that was like the wall balls and
Snatches.
yes. And I was actually
Oh
like, oh
my
thank
God.
goodness I don't have to do that.
That's the workout that killed me that year. Like it mentally drained me so much that workout. That was the hardest one. And I've done that like 3 or 4 times
Oh, have you
afterwards.
really?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Because
those
like I
that
didn't really know how to snatch properly, like drop underneath and do an overhead squat. I was like pulling the bar up and doing an overhead squat with an empty barbell, but like it was so segmented and slow and difficult. Like it was so difficult. So like me doing it again, just knowing how to pull myself underneath a bar was like it made that workout more and more fun. So it's been like a workout that I've done
technique
at
is
least
helpful.
three times afterwards.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that was 17 years ago, whatever it was
Oh my
like.
God.
Life has changed. Life has changed a lot. Did you just bump into the masters category on age range?
Yeah.
30, you
I
30,
am now 36. I just turned 36.
36. Okay. All right. Well, the years
I
continue
could
to by.
Yeah, I could compete as a masters athlete.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Just to think, and I mean, well, I would love to talk to you. The main focus of this is going to be just motherhood, training, pregnancies, what you've learned along the way. Get two children, a third one on the way very soon. And
Very
I guess I,
soon.
sh- I guess I should say whatever the appropriate disclaimers are for this video, like not giving medical advice. We're just having a conversation and you're sharing what you've learned in your personal life and it is what it is. So I guess before we even start, just how is motherhood?
Amazing, challenging, the most rewarding, difficult thing I've ever done in my life.
Did you always want kids?
Yes. I knew that I would always want kids, that I would always want a family. I come from I have two older brothers and I knew I would always want kids. But I have not been I don't know, like drawn to children, if that makes sense. I think
Yep.
also I'm the youngest. In my group of siblings. And so I haven't been like around a lot of small kids. So before I had a kid myself, I had never changed a diaper.
Hmm.
I could not stand kids crying. Like that sound was just like,
Amen. Yes.
so I was like, maybe I just don't have that like motherly instinct in me. Maybe I don't have the patience. Maybe like, I don't know what kind of mom I'm gonna be, but I knew I wanted to be one. But like Frederick, on the other hand, has been like he has two younger sisters. He's so natural around children, and I could
Okay.
see that when we were like with families with kids, or if I babysat for my brother or something. I'm like, I don't know, what do I do with you? I'm like, I don't know how to play with you or whatever.
Right.
And Frederick, it came so natural to him. It's like, oh, come and see this. And like, oh, have you seen this here? And look at this here, what we can do with this. I'm like, wow, okay, at least he'll know how to do it.
Right.
But then
Right.
yeah, I had a kid and it's like a switch that changed in me. Now I'm even the person that's like, we're at the swimming pool and someone needs assistance and I'm just like helping them out with their children. Like yeah, it's very odd to me how much things have changed.
And I don't want to speak for you. Because much later in life, I'm both a step parent and a biological dad. I've got both things going on, but having kids, it just totally like reshaped my priorities, as to like what
Yeah.
was important in my life. And it's just different phases of life. But do you look back pre-children and you're like, I used to have so much time. What did I do with all this time?
Oh God, yeah. Well, I look back at other people that think they're really like they are busy. It's not that they're not busy, but just like friends around me that don't have kids, that don't know like what you do. Katrin, for example, it was hilarious. Like I had Freya, and she obviously didn't have like children. And then we were maybe like finishing up at the gym or something and having together. And it's like, so what are your plans for tonight? What are you doing tonight? Like every day, I was like, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, nothing. Like
Nothing.
we're home, we're making food, we're having food, putting baby to bed. And then I am relaxing. Like I need to be at home with the baby. Like maybe we have friends over or something, but it's like, it was like this routine that we were in. And yeah, going from like having all I was doing, it was a lot of work. But
Oh
training
yeah.
twice a day and recovery in between, taking a nap maybe during the day, making sure I was like getting the right treatment done, like right recovery work, getting enough sleep, fueling everything. Like, yeah, there's so much. But all of a sudden, it's like, what was I doing? Like, how did I feel like I was too busy to go to IKEA or whatever? Like, I didn't have time to take care of things I had to take care of from having a kid. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I was doing before I had children. Like, I don't know where my time went. So it
And it's
is really,
amazing. I mean,
really,
as busy as you get, you still find a way just to make everything happen. Like somehow you get everything accomplished by the time the day ends. You're like, today was an absolute blur. I don't know how we got it done,
yeah.
but we got it done. We'll do it again tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So how old are your kids now?
So I have a 5-year-old. I have over 1.5-year-old. Like his birthday is the 30th of April.
Okay.
So soon to be 2-year-old. And then this little boy is coming in less than a week.
Less than a week. That's wild.
Yeah.
Between you two, the two children that you have right now, the 1.5-year-old and the 5-year-old, is one of them the quote unquote easier child and one of them a troublemaker?
Yeah.
Who's who?
My first one is the easier child. My daughter.
Okay.
She's like they're both a dream. Like they're both incredible. I love them both so much, but I have like the girliest girl. She slept through the night, a 4-month old. Like
Oh, wow.
yeah, just incredible. Like so easy. She
She tricked
stopped
you. She
the
tricked you into having
diaper.
another one.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like the perfect trick. But yeah, she stopped using a diaper herself at 1.5-year old.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I didn't never had to potty train anyone. I never had to like she took care of these things, you know?
That's
She's not
amazing.
fully reading one book every night. She's 5. And it's just like she yeah, she's I'm not saying it's easy. She demands a lot of attention.
Sure,
And
sure.
also my fault. Like I just really thoroughly enjoyed always being with her when I get the chance and can. I give her a lot of time. But then we had our son, and it's like she never cried either. She would wake up like singing songs or something in bed. And then my son is like, like the tantrums and the battles I've had to take, and the amount of times where I'm just like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I
Hmm.
don't know where this comes from. Like I am not, I'm a very even-tempered person. Um, I'd rather get a little bit emotional than like angry and mad. But he's like,
He's testing you.
yeah, yeah. And then I feel like he's been
Oh,
trying to kill himself ever since he could crawl. So he's kept me on my toes. But it's
oh,
like you say, like the first one tricks you into having more, and then I'm having another one now.
right, right, right.
But you know,
Oh,
you get used to it. It is what it is. But he also makes life really, really fun and interesting and difficult. It's never been as difficult as with him. He wakes up so many times a night still, and yeah,
it's never boring.
it's never boring. It's never boring. But
Isn't
yeah,
it
my daughter
cool?
is amazing. She's like little. I'm trying to make sure she's not his mom, but
Right.
like she helps a lot.
Our daughter's 4.5. And isn't it really cool? Like just such a fun age because you can like have these conversations with them.
Yes.
They have the funniest observations about what's going on in the world. And like my daughter has helped me realize, um, not to be corny, but just like nice things in the world that are forgotten. Like we'll go on a walk and she'll be like,
Yeah,
the trees are so beautiful. And I'll be like, they are, aren't they? I don't know why I didn't realize that, but you're right that they are. Like it's actually really cool.
I agree. Yeah. Like
Kind
you're
of
having
brings,
like real conversations. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Like people have these. It bothered me a little bit when I had Freya that it was like, oh, just wait until she starts teething. Oh, just wait until this. Just wait until she starts walking.
mm,
Just wait until the terrible twos or whatever people call it. Just wait until she starts having a mind of her own and all
right.
that. Like, dude, every single period is so interesting and fun, and there's something so much fun about every single period. Like I love that Atlas is getting to his terrible twos. Like he's becoming this little person that I'm now starting to be able to interact a little bit more with. I also loved when he was this little baby that you had to take care of. And now with Freya having, like you said, all these observations and geez, difficult questions. I think she's asking me where people go when they die and where
Right.
we were before we were born. And I'm just like, all right, I guess we're doing this very early on. Like,
Uh, it's
me and Patrick need to have these conversations. And then it's just like, yeah,
it's an
it's really
adventure.
interesting.
It's a 100% adventure. Well, I guess to dive into the training aspect of it before we launch into what you've learned, maybe just to set the stage as to where you came from, could you give me just a brief synopsis or summary of when it was your heyday of training? No kids, life revolved around competition. What was the demand of that? How many hours a day did you spend in the gym?
I would probably spend about 5 to 6 hours a day in the gym at least. I would try to not have it too long, but it was like 2 to 3 hours per session, and then I would get a break between and come back again. Um, that's probably starting as early as 2000 and well, honestly, like I did gymnastics growing up, so that was like I was training 24 hours a week from
Right.
an early age. Then I started doing like pole vaulting and boot camp and like I could never do just one sport. So all of a sudden it was like you were doing different things, but I was probably always training about 3 hours a day, even at that time going through school. Then I started CrossFit, and then all of a sudden I quit pole vaulting and decided I'm not going to go to the Olympics in that, or have that my dream and goal. I am going to focus on CrossFit, which is funny. 2009, there's no money in it. There's
Right.
no like. I found something I just had been looking for. Like
It just
thoroughly
grabbed you.
appreciated. It kept my attention and made me so happy and excited to train every day for this sport and try to get the title fittest woman on earth was like the coolest thing I could think of at that time. So I'm like, I'm gonna put med school on hold and I am gonna go and try this CrossFit thing. And then probably from 2009, I started training more and more. And then the training became more and more structured. And I would say it was like a very big shift in my training after the games 2010. So 2010, I got second place and I saw that I could win the games. And I
Mm,
saw mm, that I could have it more focused. Like I could have more structure in my training. And I started working with Yami Tikkanen at that point. Same year, I started working with Mike Bergner, Carl Paoli. Like I gathered my team around me. The team that has pretty much been with me throughout the rest of my career. I met Frederick. Yeah. And like this group, Yami has been my coach since 2010, and has been with me ever since. And we've kind of, I feel like we were a little bit the first ones that were like, coach and an athlete at the games. Like I had my coaching team with me, 2011, won the CrossFit Games that year. And then all of a sudden there was money in it. So that gave me the um, opportunity to think of it as this could be my profession for at least another year. Like it gave me the chance of, I guess, like not being ashamed or uncomfortable with saying that I was putting school on hold to pursue
Right.
a sport
Gotcha.
that wasn't legitimate. Like if
Yep.
like that there was no financial like people didn't understand what I was doing and why I was doing it. But all of a sudden, when you have some salary that you can live on and you can continue to build something from, that's the stage I got to 2011. So I feel like that changed my perspective and I could look at this as my job. And then it became my job and mentally switched to now I am on a salary to train. So I will be fully committing to my training.
Going to work.
Yes, exactly. And
Yep.
fortunate enough that my work was something I absolutely loved doing.
Is it safe to say at that phase in life, full competition, pre-family, I'm going to assume that you can't win the games a couple of times casually. I mean, like, was it an all-encompassing consuming of your thoughts, mission focused in your life every day,
Yeah,
sort of a passion?
absolutely. 100%. That was what I wanted to do. That was what everything was focused around. I would say I was pretty good at keeping a balance, though, of like, I've always had fun training.
Okay.
Uh, and that has been like I would say key to my longevity in the sport
A
as well,
gift.
being smart with my training. Um, and that came after my back injury, 2013. I became smarter with my training. But then I've always had a very good group of people around me. And I think that has been a key. Like I've had my team around me, I've had my family, I've had my priorities straight, but I've had like certain periods in my career that have been over consuming thoughts of training and needing to win the games. And that's been the hardest years. Like
Mm.
that's where I have not been successful and have been my hardest years.
I mean, I understand, especially for somebody, most of us are on the outside looking in, myself included, on the outside looking in, but I would have to think that most people, when they look at what athletes like you had to do, they only think about the reps, the loads, the hours in the gym. They don't think about whatever's going on between your ears mentally consuming you, whether it's your own internal thoughts about what am I doing? Am I good enough? What's this other person doing? What's going on in social media? I have to block that out. I can't let that affect me. Like all that. No one thinks about the mental stress of it. They just think about squatting or something. You know what I mean? Like, and they don't,
Yeah.
and I'm
I would
sure
say the
that's
mental
what it's
stress is
told.
probably what takes the biggest toll out of you. Like,
Understandable.
if you enjoy the training part, then it's the mental load that is the heaviest load. And
Hmm.
especially if you have one bad training session that you might allow it to affect you then continuously, if you don't have anything else that you can pull from, if that is your only identity, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Like
Yes.
that's you being the best at your sport. And then you feel like that identity is being ripped away from you if you have bad training, if you stop believing in yourself, if your body is aching and hurting. Those are like the worst combos. Um, and that self-doubt that can come in. But then again, I also think it's important because I feel like there's been a lot of, at least like a couple of years back, I feel like there was a lot of awakening of like the mental side of training and just like not just training, but just like um, mental health in general.
Yes.
I think that's fantastic. Like we need to, never understood that it's not more openly talked about. I've always been very open and talked about my issues and what I've dealt with. But I also think it's very important to acknowledge and realize that it's normal,
Right.
that it is difficult, that it is normal to feel anxiety or stress or pressure because not very many can make it to that level. You know what I mean? Like that's also
Hmm.
it's a part of the package and that's a part of the privilege that you get to experience. Like you need to look at it as a whole, then it sucks. It's so hard, but you don't have to be afraid that it's not okay as long as you can stay in control of it, as long as you can manage it, then it's okay. Because I think the fear of you starting to think no one else feels like this, like, no, no, no.
Right.
I get nervous. I still get nervous when I compete. That will never go away, and it's not supposed to go away. That's called your body getting ready. It's adrenaline and you getting ready to compete. It's about managing those nerves. Like me at the games, waking up, especially the first day of the CrossFit Games, that was usually an event that scared me. Usually those mass start events, those were the events that scared me the most. Like long runs or swims or something that's like where I was like, oh, I just need to get through this as well as possible. I'm in a fetal position in bed, trying to take one and one bite of my breakfast.
Mm,
Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I doing this? I don't understand. And then three, two, one, go, and you're like, now I know why I'm doing this. Like
that's
it's,
cool.
I think knowing, having your why and your knowing your motivation, whether like that is a strong one or not, like just knowing why you're putting yourself in that situation is going to then matter.
And I also might think, maybe I'm not explaining it the best way, but those nerves or anxiety or emotions or whatever you want to say, it probably just means that you really care because if you didn't care, you wouldn't
You
get
wouldn't feel
flustered
it.
out, you wouldn't get stressed out because you don't care. But you actually like
Exactly.
you really care. And so it gets to you, like that's a very human response. Am I um correct in categorizing or segmenting your training life or priorities in a few segments? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of see like the arc of your life. You had this segment where training to be a competitor, training to be the fittest on earth. Then you have times when you're pregnant or postpartum, training has to modify in one way, shape, or form. Is there a third segment, which is you're not training to win the games, you are not pregnant or postpartum, I don't want to say like you're a regular person, but you're training normally. Like I'm not pregnant, I'm not trying to win the games. I'm just training each day to stay in shape. Are those fair segments of your like arc of fitness there?
Yeah, I think you could say that. I think
What?
in like the later years, maybe it's still really hard because I'm still very competitive.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, now, for example, well, now I'm obviously pregnant, but I would say I was training always to compete. Then I got pregnant, and then I was just training for having a good pregnancy, hopefully a good recovery. I didn't think I would ever be able to compete again, but I still wanted to become myself
Mm,
strong again. So I think even training at postpartum, it was like after Freya, it was about me gaining control of my body again. Also because I had like a little bit of a postpartum depression and just like
I
I had a
remember you
really,
mentioning
really
that.
traumatic birth. Um, Thank you. So like that was it was like a bigger shift and a bigger mental battle than I ever expected that to be. I think I recovered a lot slower than even an average person after giving birth. So that was also a shock to me because I had a fantastic pregnancy, but it was just, yeah, the birth experience and everything just took a really long time.
I was gonna say, I mean, feel free to tell me to shut up and not overstep my boundaries, but out of curiosity for somebody who hasn't experienced it, and I'm sure each woman who does experience it, I would assume goes through something different. But when you say you experienced postpartum depression, what did you experience?
Yeah, so that for me was so odd because I can probably say I'm a very happy person and it's easy to cheer me up. Like if I get down, it's very easy for people around me to get me right back up again and be happy and giggly. Um, and then after I had Freya, it was, like I said, it was a very difficult birth. I lost over 2 liters of blood.
Wow.
I denied getting blood transfusion, which was ridiculous. I just felt like other people might need it more and I could suck it up, you know?
Okay.
Um, and that meant that I had a hard time just like keeping myself up. I had a hard time showering by myself. I felt like I lost all of my independence and that I wasn't capable of taking care of my child. I was
Mm,
also in a situation where she was just the best thing that had ever happened to me. And I just loved her so much. And I was so terrified of something bad happening that I couldn't sleep. I was just monitoring her constantly. I was putting on alarms to make sure that she was breathing and checking. And like, I was
okay.
just obsessed. So I didn't sleep for 5 to 6 days, like after having her. And like, I had been in labor for 3 days or like, yeah,
Right,
an
right.
active labor for over 3 hours. It was like, it was a long process. So me being sleep deprived up on top of all of this, like I just stopped seeing colors. And I just remember that situation sitting on the couch and we're watching Big Bang Theory and I had no appetite. I wanted nothing. Fred was trying to make me my favorite foods, order something, give me ice cream, chocolate, whatever. And I just
I
didn't
was
want
gonna
it.
say, I'm sure Frederick is like, I'm trying my best here.
Yeah, he was amazing. But then I just remember sitting on the couch and I'm like, why are people doing this? And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, why are people acting in this show? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're all gonna die anyways. And he's like, Jesus, Annie, like, what's
Right.
happening? I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And then I got filled with panic over how I was
Mm.
feeling. And I broke down, started crying. And thankfully, I'm a person that also shares her emotions and her feelings. And I managed to just open up and talk about it. And we figured out a way for me to sleep. And after 3 hours of sleep, I started seeing colors again. And it was it was a long process because it was I saw that we could figure this out,
Mm.
but it was so many things on top of each other. The whole like not being able to take care of me and not feeling like I could take care of my daughter, not eating, not sleeping, looking in the mirror and just like looking at this empty vessel that I didn't recognize. It was easy for me to be pregnant because I was creating life, but like looking at my body afterwards, it was just like I didn't recognize myself. I didn't know myself. I didn't feel like I had any purpose other than just I was just supposed to take care of my child. And yeah, so it took some time to get out of that, but I got out of it like very nicely because I have amazing people around me. And I was able to start talking about it. And I never planned to share anything until I shared my birthing story and I saw the reaction that got and the messages I got from women. And those helped me so much hearing their
Mm.
stories. And then I started hearing from my friends around me that had dealt with postpartum depression, that had never told me about it and hadn't told anyone about it, but they just shared because I shared. And I was like, you know what? I will just share it. And if it helps one person, then I have done my deed. And the reaction I got from that was also just like incredible. And like that showed me the power of there's so many negative things with social media, but there are so many great things with social media when people can be honest and show reality. Because I had just seen people bounce back from pregnancy so quickly, everything just being dreamy, easy,
To
getting
show their
a
wins. People love to
contract.
show their wins.
Yeah. Yeah. But you don't see the other. So that game season was never planning on me competing. And I'm still honestly, like, I still, to this day, that is my biggest victory at the CrossFit Games. I don't know how I managed to podium that year. I was running 8 or 9 months postpartum. I started being able to run. Like, it was crazy, but I listened to my body. I took it easy. I trained for healing and recovery. And then I think I got just really, really mentally strong because I could destroy myself on that
Mm.
assault and echo bike. Like that was where I got my release and my endorphins, and that's how I started feeling like myself again. So I did a lot of that, and I think that that year is still like the highlight of my career, in my opinion.
Understandably so. And I mean, I have to think, I want to get to this later, but maybe we'll get to it now because it's kind of related to this. when you said, you're looking yourself in the mirror and you're like, you didn't recognize yourself, or you felt this loss of like, I can't take care of myself anymore, this independence or whatnot. Every human being walking around has a sense of their own body. I can tell when my knee feels a little bit different or whatever, but like an athlete of your level has to be in touch with their body, their capability, how they feel head to toe, 100 times more than the normal person. And then your body goes through this unbelievable transformation that it looks like you've never seen it look when you look in the mirror. Things feel utterly different. There's this total change or loss or modification of capacity. I'm sure it has to be your world is that you've known and identified with for so long is now upside down. I mean, I have to think that all those things for an athlete like yourself are just amplified compared to just us regular civilians that haven't lived on the performance of our physique for so long. You know what I mean?
Very true. Obviously, like that is what I've lived in for so long and such a big part of my identity. But I do think I had heard these things from some of my friends is like just seeing themselves afterwards. And some of my girlfriends didn't go to the swimming pool with their children for months after having a child. And I
Mm,
could never understand it. I was like, you're being ridiculous because your body did something amazing. Like you should never be ashamed of your body when you've created life. It takes time to heal and recover, but it's so hard to tell yourself that. Like I didn't think that I would experience this. So I do think a lot of women do experience it, whether they've been a professional athlete or if that's been
hmm.
their thing, they experience it maybe at a different level. But um,
But
I
it's more
definitely
common than we
think
realize.
it's a lot more common than we realize, especially when you're expecting things just to go back to what it used to be like this.
So I guess now if we touch on the training aspect, you mentioned briefly like back in the day, what training looked like, the dedication, the volume, the hours or whatnot. What have you learned now, having two babies, pregnant a third time? What have you changed, modified? Like what I guess walk me through a brief overview of training now as a mom.
Um, well, with one child, I was still able to once things got going again and I had regained my blood volume and somewhat recovered. I was then training twice a day, but I was training while she napped. Like I got into a very good routine and I only trained while she was sleeping and I learned how to get the most out of my training. It
Mm,
turned out I didn't have to be training 6 hours a day. I just had to make sure that my training was always very intentional and whatever I got in was done with 100% um, the right intention behind it. So I
hmm.
learned a very different structure of training. Then after having my second one, um, I feel like I actually got into great shape after having Atlas, and I even competed with like Sarah and Kat on a team at Wadapalooza, and just like I wanted to see what I could do going back and competing again, but then things happen and then I got pregnant again. And then I was like, all right, so I think it's like my vanity right now is like no one really saw how fit I got after him. Will I be able to do that again with this one? And just jump on a competition floor and compete. I don't know. It's not something that I feel like I need to do. It's not something that I feel like I put pressure on doing. But if I want to, then I'm gonna allow myself. But I am training significantly different. Like these days, I train for an hour, maybe a day.
Okay.
An hour a day. I would say an hour a day. Mostly I follow. So we created Empowered by Daughter. It's a training program for women in peri and postmenopause. So it's like Specifically for them, I kind of got into that through assisting my mom during COVID. And then that's been never thought I would find anything I would be as passionate about as my own competitive career. But like this has opened my eyes to something new, something that was needed out there, and thousands of women that I've been able to assist just like understanding their new selves again. So
Mm,
that's kind of the program that I actually follow. I do those sessions, and that is pretty much we do a nice warm up. I do strength piece that is like it's 3 to 5 reps, so it's just to get the maximum out of your muscles. Like it's heavy-ish percentages, like 80%, 75 to 80% or more for fewer reps, and then accessory strength pieces, and then sprint intervals or high intensity interval training. And you get so much out of your training in 1 hour. Like if you
I
do
believe
these
it.
things at the right intensity, like I do a lot of 10 seconds or 20 seconds of just full out sprints and recovery in between, or like high intensity intervals where it's just like I'm just going as hard as I can. And I don't know, why am I almost crying after a bike session? I'm like, I don't need to be doing this to myself, but I also know what I am giving my body. So this is what I do, and I feel like it gets me really far. So what I'm not doing is maybe very heavy Olympic weightlifting for high
Okay.
reps. I'm not doing high skill gymnastics. Like we don't have rings in the garage. I do most of my training from here. I go to a CrossFit gym like once to twice per week. I try to have it twice per week just because it's really nice to see people. Um, but yeah, otherwise this is the training I do, and then I am just working and taking
And
care of my
kids,
kids. I always want to be done when my kids are done in daycare or school. That's my free time with them and full focus on just being present and being with them. And then I might work again at 8:30 p.m. when they go to sleep.
okay. And so that hour in the gym, um, you're what, roughly, are you like a week out, potentially from having your next
Yeah.
out? Are you still, do the workouts taper off? Are you
Oh,
still
they
doing something?
taper off a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, taper off a lot. I've had to modify squatting to like box squats and just like whatever feels right and good to me. We did just come out with like a pregnancy program as well. So I've been using that as at least my warm up and cool downs. But for the past week, I would say is like also different this pregnancy than the other two. I am just heavier. Things feel heavier. So I'm just listening to my body as I go along, and I'm doing like threshold training. I do a lot of just threshold on a bike, air bike, C2 bike, something that feels good where I get to sweat, and then I do my mobility and like seated strength work. Like I'm not
Okay.
putting as much pressure on my core and pelvic floor. So it's a lot of adjustments that I need to make.
When you look back over the three pregnancies and you've trained through all of them, I guess, did you get it right out of the gates, or has there been an evolution of what you've learned with regards to how to train appropriately for pregnancy one, two, and three?
I think I got it right out of the gate, but I
Oh,
did get
nice.
distance to start off with. But I started having coning very early on, like the abdominal separation and coning through the midline. And then looking at old pictures and videos of me, I'm like, I actually had abdominal separation even before I got pregnant. So
Mm,
like I just had to adjust my training fairly fast for that. And then second pregnancy around, I had to adjust things like 2 weeks earlier, everything. Like I had to take out a lot of gymnastics at 20 weeks, while many other women can go a lot longer. But I was also looking at is like, what do I want to do?
yeah.
What is good for me to do? And not not like how much can I push things right now? You know what I mean? So it's like
Hmm.
in the pregnancies, it was especially when I was carrying my first one, it was like, okay, what can I get better at during this pregnancy? I'm not going to get stronger. I'm not going to get fitter. But what I read in research is that you can increase your VO2 max. So I will do a lot of threshold and a lot of zone 2 training. So that's what I did a lot of. And then I just try to maintain muscles, to
Gotcha.
stay
Okay.
strong. Second one was more like, okay, I'm gonna do a lot of the same thing because it felt made me feel good, but not with the same pressure on training. I was training almost twice a day with Freya.
Mm,
With the second child, I was training once a day and listening a lot more to my body. I also had another child, and we were moving and building a house and life, started a company. Just a lot of things happen at the same time. With the third one, I would say it feels like I'm like a month and a half ahead. Like everything got heavier sooner, everything got harder
okay.
sooner. I have two kids that I'm running after. My son is not sleeping great. I'm not sleeping great. Like all of these things just add up, and it makes me, I just need to listen then to my body, which is why even though my training has been different every single pregnancy, I feel like I have made the correct adjustments every single time.
Mm,
And that's what got me really frustrated. First time I got assistance was like, you need to listen to your body. I'm like, but I don't know what it's supposed to feel like.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
But once you're pregnant, you start understanding those cues. You start understanding listening to your body because you can feel it. You can. There were like a couple of sessions where I was like, "Oh, I went too hard here." And I would then feel it in the evening and I would feel it the day after. And then I'm like, "Okay, this
Yep.
is where I need to like slow down a little and start listening even better to myself."
No, I believe I was going to say it would make sense to me if there were some from pregnancy, like some general training concepts that apply very well to most people.
Yes.
However, you got to listen to your body. Like those
Yes.
two things exist together, you know?
I would say the most general things is just having like something that feels manageable and that you can accomplish. So having like a program that works for you, but then also just like learning the breathing and learning how the pelvic floor feels, learning how the core feels and what feels safe and whatnot, because there is so much doubt that starts coming to your head. So just having that doubt kind of listen to and getting assistance understanding those things. And then you're going to be able to make the right adjustments to whatever training that comes to you. I feel
Okay.
like that has been like, at least where we were creating our like pregnancy program with Brianna Battles, that was what felt the most important is the things that are unknown and you're not used to. And then everything else, your body will tell you when you should stop jumping, when you should stop doing toes to bar, or
Right, right.
like those things will then you'll understand then the rest of the training.
And do you have a sense of if things go in your mind how you think or hope that they will go after you give birth, how long are you waiting before you're going to start moving again?
So for this one, I'm having a C-section.
Okay.
Uh, that is because my first birth was so in Iceland, you're not allowed to choose, like, I want a C-section. You don't get to do that. You need to give
Okay.
birth unless there is a normal birth, vaginal birth, unless there is a big reason for not being able to do so. And because of how it went my first birth, I was allowed to do a C-section for my second one. And I decided to do that mostly for my daughter because I didn't feel like I could be the way I was after I had her for her
Sure.
sake, like
Gotcha.
getting a
Okay.
new sibling and me not being myself and capable for so long if things would not go well. And the C-section went great. Obviously, it's a big major surgery and it takes you a while to recover from, but like my recovery time between those two was significant in difference. So I will be doing a C-section for this one as well, mainly because I got two kids and I don't want to take any chances.
Yeah, no, smart.
So that means that at least last time it was 2 weeks and then I started sitting on a bike and just going nice and easy.
Okay.
Uh, you're not allowed to do anything crazy for 6 weeks. But that's fine. Like, I don't need to do anything crazy for 6 weeks, but I'll definitely, after about a week, I'm gonna want to start moving my body a little bit better.
Hmm.
And then 2 weeks, I plan on putting on my training gear and getting like in the garage and moving because that's how I know I get the the different endorphins that I want and feel. I just remember last time when Frederick was like, "Do you want to go into a garage? Like, do you want to just put on your training gear?" And I'm like, "No, I'm fine. I don't want to." And then I like put on my training gear and I started smiling immediately. So I'm like, "Yes,
Mm,
this is it's good for me."
yeah, I mean, you get a lot of muscle memory in those situations, I'm sure. Um, well, I'll let you get back to your life. Obviously, we wish you nothing but the best with everything you have going on. But can you give us just a little hint of like, what do you have going on now in life? And do you have anything that you're looking forward to in the future, whether it's goals or whatever, nothing that will hold you to, but what's going through your mind these days?
So much, Pat. Like, there's so many things I want to do and have on my plan and on my list and trying to get through. This is why I'm still busy this week. And my midwife's like, you need to slow down. Um, but yeah, so right now I just finished recording the audio for my book that's coming out. Actually, I have one here.
Very cool.
Yes. 4 years writing this book.
Hey, it's
Um,
gonna be
I never
worth it.
I never expected it to be this hard. I did it with Christine Bald. She's the writer. And I'm like, yeah, I tell her my story and she writes so beautifully. But like it's hard when you're writing about your own life and your career. It's pretty much from it ended up being more than I expected because I wanted to have a little bit of background. So it's like a little bit from my childhood and gymnastics and then going into CrossFit and just like everything I learned throughout my career. I've had a lot of ups and downs. And it finishes with 2021. And yeah, I wanted to record the audio for it myself, which is also a little challenging because I think my English is pretty good, but it's obviously not perfect. So I mispronounced some words and
I think it probably is just fine. I think if you speak English better than most Americans, so I wouldn't worry about it at all.
yeah, that took a while. So I just finished that yesterday, recording the audio for that book, and that book is
Congratulations.
coming out. Thank you. It was supposed to come out in February, but because I got pregnant, we postponed it until July. So I'm excited to go to the US and promote the book a little bit and just like be around people in our space. And yeah, so that's something that's exciting. And then I just am full on Empowered by Daughter. Continuous, like I have a list of more things that I want to do for our group of women and our little big community that we've created. I feel like I've had this like CrossFit community that I grew up in and will always be a part of. And then I became a part of this mom community that is like the coolest group I've ever gotten to be a part of. And now I got my Empower community of women and peri and postmenopause that I'm just like, yeah, I love working with. So it's life is good, life is busy. I feel overwhelmed, I feel stressed out, but at the same time, I'm incredibly happy and excited for what's to come. I am so nervous about this third one. Another
You're a
another
veteran.
book
You're a
coming
veteran by now.
2022. Um, but at the same time, I don't think my life can get a lot more chaotic. So knock on wood, you know.
I've got a feeling you won't be slowing down anytime soon. So again, with as much of you've got going on for giving me an hour of your time, I truly appreciate it. We'll be following what you got going on, and it's very cool this phase of life, to see your evolution from 2009 to now, and it's pretty inspiring. So we wish you nothing but the best, and we'll be following along with your journey.
Thank you.
Have a good day out there, and tell Frederick I said what's up.
I will. Thank you, Pat.
Thanks, Annie.